Yeah, so, and when people would come to the house on Sundays, they would sit around in the study, and he would give a discourse on something. He would put music on and explain to people what it was. He had a knowledge. He had one of the largest private theater libraries in the world, and there were books all over. I mean, there were books in the bathroom, there were books in the kitchen closets, there were books anywhere you went. There were books and records. Uh, there was no contact, but there were books and records. And anyway, in a way, Susan, my sister, who was a wonderful actress that I hope people still remember, was a beautiful human being who also suffered from the same need to know that she was loved. You know, because just to have, we could talk about the theater, we could talk about art, talk about truth, talk about anything except personal things, other than baseball and food. You know, my father was raised Orthodox. You know, when you imagine he came to the United States, he was an immigrant. You know, I think when someone is an immigrant to the United States, the experience has to be extraordinarily different from someone who's born here. I was born in New York. I am one of the 3 people born in New York. Everybody else comes here. And I sometimes try to imagine what that would be like. You know, it was hard to get him to talk about things, but you know, he did talk about in the early years that he was here. He didn't speak English, and his parents put him on the 3rd Avenue L on the subway to go to either his sister's, or you know, my Aunt Becky was older, or someone's house, with a piece of paper, because he didn't speak English and he had to find the address and things like that. And when I think about that, I go, what does that feel like? You know, when you come into a place you don't speak the language, and I mean, I've traveled in countries where I don't speak the language, but it's different. I've done it as an adult, not as a child.